Hello, dear readers! In June of 2023, I wrote what is undoubtedly one of my favorite posts of all time, my unvarnished thoughts on the Twilight series. If you're late to the party, feel free to check it out on the blog. Now, over 2 years later, I'm here to share the follow-up post no one asked for. Except maybe Lynn. She knows who she is. Let's dive in, shall we? Life and Death, Stephenie Meyer's gender-bent retelling of Twilight that none of us knew we needed or even wanted. But here it is, in all of its angsty, bloodthirsty glory. I mean glory. Speaking of Lynn, this book has been around for the past decade. I did not, however, know it existed until she presented a neatly gift-wrapped copy of it to me on my birthday a couple years ago. It sat in my TBR pile for a long time, begging me to read it, and the opportune time finally presented itself. And I may or may not have requested that the library order this book just so I can write about it, so you're welcome. We have it now. In the book's foreword, Stephenie Meyer emphatically stated that, contrary to popular belief, Bella Swan is not, in fact, a damsel in distress, but a human in distress. Using that logic, she deemed it an easy gender swap. I kept this logic in mind as I read, but I think I'm contrarily in favor of popular belief. Yes, I know men can find themselves in distressing situations just as much and as easily as women. That's far from the point I'm trying to make. That being said, for me, the situations and dynamics that were created for Edward and Bella don't translate to Edith and Beau. Beau being short for Beaufort, as seamlessly as was intended. Stephenie did tweak some of the scenarios to fit the new dynamics a little more smoothly, which I do appreciate, but most of them remained basically the same and felt constricted and choppy. In fact, the chemistry between our gender-bent lovers felt even more forced than it did between Edward and Bella. Who knew such a feat was possible? Not all of the tweaks fell short, particularly the changes made to the valiant rescue scene in Port Angeles. Stephenie very cleverly sets this scene up at the beginning of the book, for which I sing my praises. The biggest change of all, though, was the ending, which I did not see coming. I definitely had mixed feelings about it, but I also appreciated it at the same time. There was a sense of closure I didn't realize I'd always wanted. I won't spoil it because I'd be mad if someone had for me. All I will say is, a sharp left turn was taken in the ballet studio. I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions. Or, better yet, just read the book and find out for yourself. In addition to our two protagonists, almost every other character was gender-bent as well. In fact, something I looked forward to the most about reading this book was learning the new names of everybody. The two main characters that remained exactly the same, though, were Beau's parents, Charlie and Renee. Well, a third, his stepdad, Phil. Meyer explains why in her foreword, and I think her reasoning is sound. Go read it to see what I mean. Rationality aside, the parent-child relationships also felt more strained than ever before, which I didn't know was possible either. All things considered, this book is novelty for novelty's sake. And there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously not, since I willingly and happily read the whole thing. Twihards especially will undoubtedly love it. If the high school version of me described in my original Twilight post had read this, she'd have been absolutely beside herself. The adult version of me is here for the nostalgia. Some may think Stephenie Meyer is just milking the franchise at this point, but I am not one of them. Ridiculous as this saga may be, it's evident that this is her baby we're talking about, and I can't blame her for wanting to keep it alive. I also can't help but wonder if in the coming years, Stephenie will try to gender bend some of the other books too. She'd certainly have her work cut out for her. The way she ended Life and Death didn't seem to open the rest of the original series up to the possibility, but you never know. I'm definitely still planning to read Midnight Sun, which, as you may remember, is Twilight from Edward's perspective. I've started it, but am feeling a bit daunted by the prospect of what the next 800 plus pages will be like, in terms of the time and attention span it will require. Stay tuned for when I inevitably post about it once I finally muster up enough time, courage, and brain power. Happy reading and sparkling yet again.
I like the chance for community. I like to support local.
Nice.
And meeting people, and it's kind of a better chance for community than the spread out nature of downtown driving around in your own sarcophagus.
Yeah, it's like there's so many things you miss. When
there's an opportunity for conservation.
Well said, man. Thank you.
The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon. Ariel Lawhon's latest historical fiction novel begins with a vivid description of a body floating down a river as ice forms around it, eventually trapping it just beneath the surface. This oddly lyrical scene becomes a potent metaphor for the secrets that hide among the residents of Hallowell, Maine's snow-covered streets during the winter of 1789. As midwife to the community, Lawhon's central character, Martha Ballard, is privy to many of those secrets. She serves multiple roles in the town in addition to attending childbirths, including acting as an ad hoc coroner, so she's called to examine the body in order to determine the cause of death. As she conducts her autopsy, Martha is surprised to discover signs that the deceased man, a local bully who had recently been accused of raping preacher's wife, Rebecca Foster, has been murdered. Before this information can become common knowledge, however, Hallowell's new physician interrupts her examination and comes to the opposite conclusion: natural causes. Rather than calming the townspeople, though, the opposing results instead set off a chain of conflicts that wrap around the Ballard family, Rebecca, and the bully's accused accomplice, prominent citizen and town judge Joseph North. These conflicts escalate from legal troubles to manipulations, threats, and finally to more violence. Meanwhile, the town's daily cycle of courtship, births, work, and gossip continues to spin along, and Martha attends it all. Martha was a real-life person, a midwife who delivered more than 800 babies during a career that spanned 27 years, beginning in 1785. Unusually for the time, she kept a diary that she noted not only the births she attended, but also bits of town news, other duties she was called upon to perform, including acting as witness in the trial of the real-life Joseph North. Starting with Ballard's diary, Lawhon has crafted a beautifully detailed version of life in post-colonial New England, a setting that I personally knew very little about. Some of the true pleasures of reading this novel is the author's ability to immerse you into Hallowell as Martha moves among the various characters, crafting a realistic-feeling world through her momentary interactions with them. In some respects, the world-building becomes the most important part of the book, eclipsing the crime story. In lesser hands, I would find this disappointing, but the individual scenes are so compelling that I can't really complain that the book doesn't follow a more standard mystery format. Martha herself is another pleasant surprise. She's a memorable protagonist, a capable, sometimes sharp-tongued woman, not afraid to stand up for herself or others, who is nonetheless wounded by a tragic past. I would very much like to know more about the real woman behind the character, a testament to Lawhon's ability to bring to life an imagined personality that shines through the rather dry daybook-style diary entries that she left behind. I believe many historical fiction fans will feel the same. Now, if you'd like to know more about Ballard and her remarkable diary, Billings Public Library also has the Pulitzer Prize-winning biography of Martha Ballard called A Midwife's Tale by Laurel Ulrich.
Hi everybody, this is Mary from the Billings Public Library. In October, we're going to have our first annual craft and art supply swap meet. If you are a crafter, like a bunch of us at the library are, you might know that you are interested in this one day and interested in that one a different day. If you have supplies that you aren't using, that you're not interested in using anymore, consider swapping them at the swap meet. The swap meet is going to be on Saturday, October 18th. During the week leading up to that, between Tuesday, February 14th and Friday, February 17th, you can drop your items off at the first floor help desk at the library. And while you are there, make sure to pick up your swapper pass. Your swapper pass will get you into the swap meet early. From 10 to 11, only people with a swapper pass can come in. From 11 to 2, everybody else can come in. More information will be coming, and you can also find this event on our calendar with lists of things that we are looking for, that we think people might want, things not to bring. And if you have any questions, you can contact the contact person on that page. The one thing to note is that everything will be donated. It's all free, and it will be open to all, but swappers get to come in early. Watch the library show and the calendar for more information, and hope to see you at the swap meet.